Well,
Hey guys, I'm Sean,
and I'm Jim.
and today is the second video of ours of our fledgling channel here, and today we're doing steak and eggs. That's going to be the kind of battle off, and we I think we have two very different takes on steak and eggs.
Yeah,
I
I was going to say the criteria was that the steak has to be a ribeye,
hmm
and of course eggs. Well, what can you say?
eggs.
Unless you're using duck eggs, an egg is an egg is an egg, whether it's from a chicken or a quail or an ostrich. They all taste the same.
The important thing is that an egg is a very versatile, very versatile ingredient. So I think we probably both had some fun with it. And first, we're going to get into Jim's today. Let's see what he decided to do.
Now on this one, Sean told me ahead of time where he was going with his. He was going to cook you know, a steak and then use eggs as a sauce. Instead, I decided to go with a steak omelet. Since I always have onions and bell peppers available, I went to the store, got some mushrooms, sliced them up, and just sauteed them up first. Think of this as think of this as a Philly cheesesteak with egg instead of bread. And there you go, Sean. See, I am using shaved ribeye steak. Now on the griddle, this cooked extremely fast. Later on, I fixed another one for myself and for Randy, and I was cooking the steak at the same time as cooking the omelet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Here, yeah, here I did the ingredients first, but I could have cooked them all at the same time, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, shame is with that shaved ribeye. You can't really get too much of a Maillard effect on there. At least I suspect
Well,
you can't.
you can a little bit.
Not without cooking it to hell. I would imagine at least.
Well, it only takes like 30 seconds to a minute.
Right. I mean, and in that time,
Now
your
here, I've
steak is
got my
great. But
now here I'm going to do a 2 egg omelet because Val doesn't like 3 eggs. That's just too much.
okay.
So butter in a cold pan and put it over medium heat.
hmm
This is actually a little bit high. Just getting the butter around just before it's melted. I'm going to add the eggs. You can see the filling prepared already, waiting to go in. When making an omelet, key thing to keep in mind: the omelet doesn't cook the filling. You want your filling to be ready to go already.
Yep.
Now I could have beaten those eggs a little bit more. You can see where the whites weren't fully incorporated.
I do see that. I was
Yeah,
gonna try.
so
I wasn't gonna point that one out on you. I'm not
I
gonna kill you for it.
was
I'm not gonna kill you for an underbeaten egg. What I will kill you
right.
for is that non-stick pan.
No,
Ugh.
for eggs, that's the only way to go. Hey, come on, bite me. That's the only reason you use nonstick is for eggs. Nothing else is better.
My
Hey,
carbon steel pan does great with
now
eggs.
here I'm waiting for the eggs to firm up a tiny bit, and I'm pulling in from the edges to the center, getting the curds in there. Any liquid, I want to go out to the outside. I want to get everything fairly well cooked. Now, I'm not looking for everything to be 100% solid before I put the filling in, but I do want the curds to start forming up. And you can see this now as I pull this in. You can see the bottom of the pan. I let the
Yep.
liquid run in. I clear the edges. I actually didn't use enough butter because this one isn't sliding around. The whole mass doesn't slide around. You'll see this later. So this wasn't my best effort for an omelet, but I'll take it. Now, if I'd been using a 10-inch pan with 3 eggs, I would have gone for a French omelet where I tried to fold it up and roll it out with that classic shape.
Yeah.
But hey, not for a 2 egg omelet. You're just not going to make it happen. It doesn't work that way. You see it's not sticking for the most part, but later on you'll see where I goofed. See, it's not sliding like it should,
Yeah, it doesn't
and
have the
that's unusual.
needs a
It's
little
very
more fat under
unusual
it.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't use enough butter. So now it's starting to come in. It's starting to firm up nicely. Go add the filling, and that's just those onions, peppers, and steak. Like
No
I said,
cheese.
no, not yet.
Okay.
For this one, I decided just keep it simple on the filling and add the cheese. Now here's that American flip, and you see where it stuck a tiny bit there.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. What can I say, folks? I'm really embarrassed. By the
Oh,
way,
it stuck quite a bit. Oh, and it fell apart on you.
yeah, I know.
Clean your stove, man.
Ah, screw you. By the way, I love those spatulas, those silicone spatulas. They are the only way to go. Now, here's the cheese. And where it tore, nothing that can't be hidden with a little bit of cheese.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time when I worked at when I worked at that diner I worked at.
Yeah.
I used to hide torn omelets all the time with some cheese.
Okay, now there I handed off. Val made her own salad off camera. She didn't want to be on camera.
A salad with steak with a
Yeah,
steak omelet. That's an
hey,
interesting combination. It's not bad. It's just an interesting
yeah,
combination.
yeah. Go ahead and back up and pause and show it. We're back at the beginning here.
It looks pretty good actually. You know,
Yeah,
as omelets. I mean, oh geez, hold on. It looks pretty
yeah.
good
Okay,
as far as salads go. It looked pretty good.
yeah. And what you did, you put the fried mushrooms on top of the omelet.
Mm-hmm.
Then the salad, we have a Val convinced me to buy a hydroponic garden.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, it is going like gangbusters. I mean, we have a dozen different types of lettuce growing in it. So she added some olives, some cherry tomatoes on top of mustard greens and a few other things.
Sean, with
And it worked.
Sorry, I was trying to just cue it up and it
Yeah, I know. And it starts immediate play.
started immediate play on me.
So
I'm not sure what this is. What is Vom Red? I think that's a spam.
yeah, it looks like it. I mean, that's that's a Russian font. No, but I mean, I think it turned out pretty good. It was definitely tasty. And let's say the cheese, instead of going in the middle, we put it on top. And that was a Mexican four cheese, and that was a Mexican four cheese blend that was finely shredded.
Yeah, looked good.
Now later on, I actually made two more, one for myself and one for Randy. And I did prepare the filling at the same time as doing the omelet, and it took like maybe 6 minutes total.
Yeah.
This one, okay, the video is edited down, but the first one took about 10 minutes, 11 minutes. But
yeah,
once I realized what was happening, it's a very, very easy dish to fix.
For sure. All right, let's go ahead and jump in with our second one here. And yeah, I didn't mean to have that yell over you, but I thought I could cue it up and it wouldn't, you know. But
yeah,
learning pains, guys. Sorry, growing pains.
Yeah, same thing. I apologize for the camera work.
Our next challenge is me and Jim are going to be competing to see who can make the best steak and eggs. I'm sure Jim is going to do some kind of country fried steak or just like a breakfast diner style steak and eggs. I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm actually going to make a salt cured egg. So we're going to go ahead and get that part done today, and then obviously this will be the next time you guys see me after this will be 5 days in the future. No, a week in the future when these are done. Okay, so first thing we need to do.
Yeah, tell us what a salt
cured egg is. Get our mix set up.
Yeah, so a salt cured egg is
a
salt cured egg is when you leave an egg yolk in a kind of a crust of salt and sugar and allow it to cure. It sucks all the moisture out, and the egg yolk becomes almost a cheese consistency, like a fresh cheese consistency.
Well, what do you do? Keep it in the fridge or what?
Yeah, in the fridge. In the fridge, yes. Yes.
Okay.
And 3/4 salt, 3/4 cup salt.
Wow.
Okay.
So much for my low sodium diet.
Well, you don't end up eating all this salt. It's just to make sure you get full coverage. It only absorbs what the yolks can absorb.
That's still a lot.
Salt.
Yeah, it is. And they end up
And
being
we're
a pretty
just gonna
salty
do
product, but they're also creamy and
1
delicious.
and 1/4.
It's like the richest, most flavorful cheese
cups
you've ever eaten.
of sugar.
But it's a salty cheese.
Oh wow, 2-to-1 sugar to salt. Oh my god.
No, it's not
Oh,
2 to
that's
1.
exactly what I
It's
had in the thing.
it's a little bit more than
Absolutely
1 to 1
fantastic.
in favor of the
And we're
salt.
just going to give this a quick whisk, and then we're going to
It's
reserve
one-
part of it.
It's 1 3/4 salt to 1 1/4 sugar.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard
Nice.
3/4 salt.
And combined. Any chunks get broken up?
Sweet and salty.
Yeah, most people put this in like a
Yeah.
blender or something. But I mean, I don't feel the need to pour
A
salt
lot
and
of places
sugar in a
tell you to
blender.
blend this, but honestly, I find a wick works just as good.
It does.
People throw this in the blender,
Yeah.
in the food
Such a waste of
processor,
time.
all that other stuff. I just think that's excessive.
Not to mention
And then
clean
what I'm
up.
going to do is I'm going to pour some of this mixture
I should have used a funnel here.
back in the container.
Well, that's a pretty
Because we
large
need to be able to
container to
cover
start out with.
our eggs after the fact, and we're gonna spill a little bit. It doesn't matter. It's not like
Yeah.
this is all going to be. It's not like all this is going to be put in.
It's not like you're consuming all this sugar, you know what I mean, and salt.
Exact as far as
Right.
the amount. It's more the ratios that matter, right? So we're gonna get this nice and flat, and then we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves a couple divots here, and this is gonna be for the egg yolks to sit in. And I think I'm gonna make 6 of these, assuming there were 8.
I only ended up making 5
in the thing.
because there was only 5 eggs in that carton. But like, you know, what was, I mean, I was already filming, so, and I only needed 4, but it just seemed weird to use that whole container for 4 eggs.
Now,
So
we'll step over here and separate our eggs. Let's do that over here.
Okay, let's see what you do to separate eggs.
And
I tend to use a shell to
is
shell
we're just
method or just the finger
separating
method.
the yolk.
I use the finger method.
Oh,
I just
okay.
use my fingers. I find that's the easiest thing.
Okay, you
It
just
is.
trap them all at one time and then pick,
And you
pick
should
up
end
the
up with
yolks.
something that looks like that.
Yeah.
You just drop it in.
Okay, that works. A lot of people are
So you
going,
get some there.
oh,
Needs to come
that's
all the way through.
gross.
There we go.
You just wash
that
your
right in there.
hands. Soap
Exactly.
exists, guys. You
Yeah,
use soap and
And
you
that
fix
works.
it.
I know there's
It's faster than anything
tools and
else.
methods.
Yeah.
There's the water
Yeah.
bottle trick that you can do to separate egg yolks.
I've never tried the water
I
bottle
find
trick
that-
yet. I've seen
I
it,
have.
and
Just using your hands.
It works,
and
but it's a waste
washing
of
them
time.
Yeah.
is the best way to do this.
Now, what do you do with the egg whites afterwards?
It really
do you
isn't
freeze them
hard.
and keep them, or
I
just-
set them
Just run
aside
a
to
little bit,
use in
and eventually
smoothies.
Yeah.
You'll end up with just
Okay.
yolk in your fingers.
I could see making
That'll fill
an
up
egg
easier than
white
the rest.
omelet.
Good protein, man.
We
Get it in there with a bunch of fruit, you'll never taste
I'm
it.
just going to reserve those whites.
just for
There's things
protein.
you can do with the egg whites. Remember that the egg yolk is almost all fat. The egg white is mostly protein. So there are uses for this for these egg whites, and we're going to reserve those, and we're going to keep those, and we're going to use those for something else. That we're not going to film probably.
Also for like meringues
But
and
if
things
you're
like
gonna
that.
use them,
I mean,
Yeah.
they'll probably end
True.
up in
Use egg whites a lot in
smoothie or for a breakfast or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So, coming in again with just our mix of salt and sugar, and this was 1 cup, 1 3/4 cup salt to 1 1/4 cup sugar, and we're just going to get these covered.
Actually,
As much-
you got quite a bit of excess in there where you could have just spooned some of that excess over there too.
Yeah. I was worried about.
And
I
it's
could
gonna
have,
cook as
but
good as we can.
when I was making it, I
We
was
have-
really worried about the ratio, and I
and
wanted
that's
to make sure I had the
perfect
ratio right.
Looks like we had
Now I could have
perfect
reserved
amount
some of this.
to get them all the way completely
I
covered.
could have reserved some of
to the
this
point of not being able to be
mix to do
seen.
it again.
And now we're just gonna
You know what I
lick
mean?
these,
But
Yeah,
put them in the
that's
refrigerator, and we're gonna
that's
forget about them
such
for
a
a whole
waste
week.
of salt and
These are gonna be
sugar.
in the refrigerator curing.
salt and sugar are cheap, man.
Waste not, want not.
That's fair.
Away they go. And we'll see you in a week. Later, guys. Hey, guys. And we are 7 days in the future from the last clip. And we are getting ready to make some steak and eggs. Again, we're making a dinner-style steak and eggs.
Doctor
Jim is
Who would
probably
be
making a
proud of you.
breakfast-style steak and eggs. If you look over to your left, there are eggs finishing off in the dehydrator. They have
Although,
been in
on that note,
a salt. They've been in a salt and sugar
I'm going to pause
kind of
here for
crust.
a second.
Sure.
Actually, on that note, it would have been more impressive for Doctor Who fans had you started here and then traveled back in time and then come back to the present.
You're not wrong.
Curing.
They
for the
would have
last
enjoyed
week.
that.
And we have over here some nice ribeye
Yes,
steaks.
Sean and I are nerds to some extent.
And we have the ingredients prepared.
Those are
to
pretty
make a
nice looking
wine
steaks, aren't
sauce as
they?
well to go with it. So, steak plate's gonna look like this: steak in the middle,
Yeah.
wine sauce
Yeah, they
on
are.
top, and then we're gonna have our grated
Now-
egg
now, wait a
on the
minute.
very top. So we're
Did
gonna go
you
ahead.
dry brine those overnight?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I forgot to mention it. But yes, we did. We did
Okay.
dry brine them overnight.
And get into it. The first thing we're gonna do is get our wine sauce going because that takes a while. First thing that needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm dropping
You need to get a
things.
knob of butter in there.
I'm
I'm
clumsy.
not talking about
What's
I think
the
I
name?
had a few by
kid
then
style or
too.
kid size
Well, what are
knob
you
of
gonna be
butter.
using
I'm
beef
talking
broth
about some
for?
real butter.
You'll see. It's going in my wine sauce.
Oh!
We cook with butter in this house. Butter tastes good. Butter makes your food taste good. You should use butter on everything.
And that's unsalted butter, right?
Delicious.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Okay. And people,
And over
it
here
does
we
make a
have our,
difference.
Onions and garlic kind of already.
For anybody who doesn't know the difference, if you have salted butter, it makes it much more difficult to control the salt content of your food. Takes the control right out of your hands to use salted butter.
Pre-chopped up. We got that taken care of. We probably won't use all this, but we got it ready to go.
I'm a bit surprised that you're
All right,
using
let's go ahead and give
garlic
this a
or
turn. And then we're going to go
butter
ahead and
onions,
get our
shallots.
onions and garlic in there.
I had
Stuck
regular
in.
onions on hand. I didn't have shallots on hand.
Well, same here. I always
Sauteing
have
and butter.
regular onions on hand.
I would have preferred shallots for this, but I didn't have shallots on hand.
Once these get nice and soft, we will get our wine in there. We'll reduce it.
God, do you have enough butter in there for? I mean, that's not exactly a
And
saute.
then we will have a delicious wine sauce. I'm getting my pepper and my salt and pepper in here early. It really doesn't matter when you do this step.
Not for a wine sauce, it doesn't matter.
I'm doing it. I'm choosing to do it now because I'm thinking about it now. And if I forget about it, I'll be very angry with myself.
And you've been known to forget something like that.
Yes. I never forget the pepper.
And you'll know when
No.
your onions and garlic are done because it'll start to smell fantastic.
Yeah, for me, I always forget
Traditionally, you're
something
supposed to use
like
dry wine for this.
herbs de Provence or
I
thyme.
am using the wine that happened to be in my fridge. Because that's
Now-
what you actually do when you're at home.
Properly, it should be a dry wine, right?
I know
But
very few people who
Right.
buy
I
a
didn't have
special
dry
wine
wine because we don't drink dry wine.
that they don't drink just to cook with.
I
And our
should
sauce
point
is
out.
getting pretty close here to
Okay, I'm gonna pause it for a
what we
second.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, folks. First, okay, when cooking with wine is very simple. Don't cook with a wine that you wouldn't drink. Don't buy
Very important.
cooking. Don't buy
Yeah.
cooking wines, cooking sherry, anything like that.
No.
If you wouldn't drink it, don't cook with it. That said, don't go and use a $50 bottle of wine to cook with.
Well,
You
no,
can buy
that's silly.
Right. I mean, almost any California wine for $10, give or take,
Exactly.
is perfectly fine. And
I mean,
it will go with the meal.
Exactly. I mean, what I put in here is I think I put a Carlo Rossi in there, like a cheap Carlo Rossi, because it was what was in my fridge.
Yeah.
And it's not expensive. It's a very, very average wine, right? And it was a sweet wine, but you know what? That's what was in my fridge. That's what we like to drink. That's what I cooked with.
Right. And whatever you don't use to cook with will go fine with the meal. It pairs excellently.
Mm-hmm.
We got a nice thick, almost a syrupy substance. So here's where we're going to go in with our sprigs of rosemary.
Right. Now we have
adding
huge rosemary bushes out in our front yard.
So here's where I'm at in my
I'm going to reduce this back down again.
So that's where I'm at in my beef broth, and it's going to be reduced back down.
Yeah.
It adds some flavor, man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of beef broth in your wine sauce. It's tasty.
Yeah.
So
it
we
tastes
are at a point now
good.
where our wine sauce is just about rendered down the way we
I
want it
just
to.
would have added butter.
We just turned our stove on for our steaks, and that's what it looks like.
Yeah, see how that ended up cooking down?
Yeah.
That's delicious.
Got to get these.
I'm certain it is. It looks
delicious.
Out of there. Because it adds quite a bit to the flavor.
Love it. Did you have any garlic
Texture
in
of
that?
rosemary leaves a little bit to be desired. I'm probably going to run that.
That's right. You had onion and garlic to start out with.
I had onion and garlic pre-diced up together and mixed in that little bowl.
All right, now we're ready to go ahead and get our steaks cooked.
And that's just a canola oil or vegetable oil.
There's a generous helping of vegetable or canola oil. We want something with a high smoke point. We're only going to salt the steak right now because pepper can and will burn.
Yeah, I was going to say, pepper burns, so I mean, I had that afterwards.
I do too.
We'll pepper at the end.
We're going to go ahead and give it a flip.
See how pretty that crust is coming out?
Oh, yeah. Something I'm going to point out, if you start to pick up a steak like this and it doesn't release immediately, it needs
leave
to
it
simmer
alone.
more.
Yeah, it's not done.
And your heat is probably not high enough. You want a hot skillet to do this on.
Ripping hot, yeah. Ripping hot.
We would at some point like that to get a little bit darker, so we will let it go darker than that. We're going to flip it one more time, at least. But we also want it cooked evenly, so...
So how long did you cook those two? I assume you went for medium rare.
Yeah, about 2 minutes on each side.
How hot was your pan? That's pretty goddamn fast.
Hot. It was hot.
Yeah, because when I'm searing a steak, I do a reverse sear.
We do want our bits of onion and garlic.
I have my pan
do not want
650 degrees for hot, so it's only like 45 seconds per side to put the sear on.
Another flip.
Look at that crust.
Yeah.
These are beginning to look absolutely wonderful.
That is a well-developed crust right there.
Now, are you finger testing for the doneness, or are you going to take a thermometer?
I thermometered off camera.
Sure the fat caps on these. For a moment or
that
two.
got ripped out in post at the same time.
Out of the skillet, onto the plate.
Yep. Gotta sear that fat. Yes, that's delicious.
Temperatures will keep rising for a couple of minutes.
I want to see the center of the steak. That's starting to look like at least medium rare, if not actually closer to medium than medium rare.
Well, there's a picture at the end of the cut. I don't slice it on camera, but there's a
several
picture.
days here, get a look at our eggs. You guys haven't seen those since we started.
Okay, how did you get those eggs up there?
Hand.
Hang on a
They're
second
only in
here.
there dehydrating about
Okay. So what's
Okay.
your question?
Last time we saw the eggs, they were in that dish going into the fridge. Now
Yes.
we see them on a grate
Yes.
in the microwave.
That's not a microwave. That is my dehydrator.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me what happened here. I mean, I don't see any of the salt or sugar on them. I mean,
Okay.
you got
Yeah.
the yolks there on a grate.
So over the course of the 7 days, almost all of the moisture gets wicked away by the salt and sugar. That's one of the reasons you have such a big bath of salt and sugar. Is it pulls the water, the moisture out of the eggs, and you
Well,
end up with
it's just like dry grinding a steak, but
yes. So you end up with a totally solid piece of egg, and then you go and you rinse the salt off. You rinse it off under the sink to get the extra excess off, and then into the dehydrator you go, because you don't want that crust of salt on there after that'd be too
right.
salty for anything. I mean, it would be undesirable. It would taste bad. So,
But
so
but at this point they have a tough enough skin on them where you can handle them and not worry about breaking them too much.
the skin is it's literally got the consistency of cheese when it comes out of the salt. It's solid.
I'm gonna have to try this, see what happens.
Yeah, it is solid. I mean, you can see this. You'll see it when I grate it. You'll see it. You'll see how dense it is.
Oh, okay, as soon as I see that, I'll have several ideas what to do with them.
Yeah, and I mean, keep in mind that it's been in the dehydrator for only 2 hours.
Okay, do you have to use a dehydrator, or can you do something else?
You can put it in the oven at the lowest setting. If your oven doesn't go,
I've got a keep warm setting at 170.
that should be fine. That should be fine. I would leave the door cracked. 150 is optimal for this. Okay. 150 is optimal. So I would leave the door just a little cracked, let a little bit of the heat come out. But this is actually a combination toaster oven, dehydrator, rotisserie, and an air fryer. And I'm using the dehydrator setting right now, and it worked really well.
Fancy. And you say I'm a rich son of a bitch. I don't have anything that does that.
This was inexpensive. I just shopped hard for this. Actually, Alice shopped hard for this. Let me not lie to you guys. Alice shopped for this, and she found it was not that expensive, and it has a lot of uses. We're actually doing a rotisserie in it tomorrow.
She's definitely your better half.
She is absolutely my better half.
Okay, so we've got our salt cured eggs here, just the yolks, and we're gonna go ahead and get these grated up.
See, it almost looks like cheddar cheese.
That is insane.
All over
I have got to try that.
Our steaks.
I have got to try that.
And spoon it over.
I've never seen eggs like that before.
They're delicious.
I've never heard of eggs like that before.
It's not the most beautiful presentation, but I'm not a professional chef.
No shit.
It is pretty though.
And guys,
it's just not that pretty.
That is my take on a dinner steak and eggs. Beautifully cooked steak, delicious salt cured egg, and a little red wine sauce.
Let's see the steak. Now, for me, it would have been a mushroom sauce, simply because Val loves mushrooms.
So that's the cross section there. It's a nice medium rare cross section.
Okay, yeah. Val and I like ours a little bit more towards the rare side. I mean, we tend to go with the rare side and medium rare.
Yeah, but that is medium rare all day and twice on Sunday.
Now, if I was younger, I would go with even more rare because then I could probably chase it down after stabbing it. But yeah, nowadays, I just can't chase it down.
Yeah, but I mean that is how it came out in the very end after that long cooking process. And I'm telling you guys, if you've never salt cured eggs, you need to salt cure eggs. They're super tasty, and they can be put on a lot of things. I mean, pretty much anything that you would put cheese on. Shredded cheese on. It's just super rich.
And I suspect that I could use it. I could do it with less salt and sugar. I mean, because
Yeah.
that seemed like a lot of waste.
Yeah, you just keep the ratios the same.
Yeah, and today, let's face it, we got shortages and stuff. You got to think about that. Not to mention
Yeah.
the inflation going on.
Yeah. But no, this was delicious, and I don't regret it. A lot of it was an experiment.
Now I have to ask, what
Yes.
grade meat did you use? How tender was it?
Honestly, man, it's a choice cut. They are choice cuts, and you know,
Okay.
I didn't buy special steaks for this.
Yeah, and you saw what I used. And by the
Yeah.
way, that was so tender, it's unreal. I mean,
Yeah, and so was this.
You never saw a knife in sight. It's just cut right through it. No biggie.
You needed a knife for mine, but I mean, you didn't need a sharp
Well, yeah,
knife.
because it's an actual steak. Now,
Yeah.
in fact, tonight I still have some more of that shaved ribeye left. I'm going to make myself a ribeye sandwich
Nice.
on sourdough.
Very good. Very good. But yeah, that was
I like it.
that was my take on steak and eggs for dinner.
I like it. I'm
it
not
was
certain which people would prefer. I mean, whether they like a steak omelet or the steak with the cured egg. Either one looks fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do think mine would be good for a brunch or
Yeah.
lunch or dinner. I mean, you can go with breakfast. Throw some hash browns in there. You got breakfast.
Yep. Mine is decidedly dinner. You eat mine with a glass of wine.
Right. You put the salad in there. You got a brunch or dinner.
Yep.
Uh,
You want to impress your date? Serve her a freaking steak with a salt cured egg on it. I'm telling you. All I'm gonna say, guys, is moisture.
Hey, you want? I know you want to show your girl that you can cook.
Absolutely. I'm just saying, guys. You know,
Yeah,
you want to impress a date? Steak with salt cured egg.
And guys, let me tell you, knowing how to cook is a big plus. You cook before you get married. Afterwards, that's her worry. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to go to hell for that one.
Probably. But yeah, guys, on that note, I think we'll go ahead and finish up for the night. And if you enjoyed this, pop over and check out our YouTube channel if you're seeing this on Facebook. And subscribe if you want to see more. And if you think some other people that you know would like to see it, hit the share button.
Anything helps.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys.
Asta.